Hello and welcome to the Sunday Club. We're trying out something new this week with our guest, Utpal Kumar, author, and out with his first book. Utpal, thank you so much for joining
New
us.
this week with our
And
guest,
of course,
Utpal
there's
Kumar,
feedback because every
author,
time I try
and
something
out with his
new,
first book. Utpal, thank
there is always feedback. So that's a good omen, Utpal. That's a good sign. Omen has something ominous to it. But let's just dive right into your book. Here's the book. Really enjoyed reading it. Bharat Rising, Dharma, Democracy, Diplomacy. Bestseller in the political section, undoubtedly, unsurprisingly. But Suhel's got playing my video. That's why the echo is there. But anyway, let's dive into the questions I have for you after reading your book. And let's just start. This is
Internet.
quite
You have a pathetic internet. Don't blame it on me.
all right.
Can you hear me? Football, can you hear
Yeah,
me? There's
Yes,
no echo.
no,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the point.
yeah, okay,
Even
calm down.
Paritosh Jani has said
Calm down.
the crappy Wi-Fi do Advaita isn't working. I mean, forget his English, but you know what the point is.
Yeah. That's your viewers. That's how they write and speak. That's the level of your grammar Nazi sort of persona has no impact on your viewership. But Utpal, coming back to you and to the serious, very serious discussion about your book, which is an amazingly well researched and well thought book. It's easy to write a well researched book in today's time, but it's quite another thing to be able to, make sense of all that has happened in these last 70 plus years. And one of the significant points that you make was that, or that's what I gleaned from it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was that the Nehruvian worldview actually negated an India first or a nation first policy.
Yeah,
And I wanted you to just explain that a little bit to our viewers.
yeah. First of all, thank you, Advaita. Thank you, Seth, sir. Huge fan of your thing. Yeah, that was the point. In fact, the actual provocation for me, the real provocation was for me was that India right now in last 10 years has been witnessing battle of multiple front. One is what's called narrative war, another is identity war. These two things especially got aggravated when PM Modi became the prime minister. The narrative war is about globally, or mainstream media or academia. What they're trying to project India as, well, democracy is sliding. Uh, Loktantra khatre mein hai. These kind of things you always hear. Liberalism is sliding. Press freedom is in danger. Firstly, I'm journalist for the last 20 years, and frankly speaking, I believe that newspapers and the media has never been more fair than what it is today. That's my personal this thing. But that narrative has been there, and unfortunately, the so-called strong government which we have in Modi's, they have largely been reactive rather than proactive in dealing with this narrative war. So that was one of the reasons why I chose to work in and correct the narrative in my own limited way. The other war which India is right now fighting is the identity war. So, whose India is this? We often hear this idea of India. Sunita came with a book, The Idea of India, and it became fashionable for everyone to talk about that. I believe that that narrative, that idea of India was largely, a very wrong projection of this country, which largely tried to project as if India was the creation of freedom movement, constitutionalism, Nehruism at worst, which and the policy of that idea of India was that we are made to believe that this country, yeah, of course we took our political institution, which is young, but this country, this ethos, this country is liberal or secular or plural, not because we have constitution or not just because we have Nehruvian ecosystem controlling our this thing for last 7 decades. It is precisely because this country has been so for millennia. This country is liberal, secular, progressive, plural. You can just add on here. It's precisely because it has been so for almost 5 to 8,000 years till the time civilization we had. And the moment you remove this civilizational thing from this country, then you see that everything falters. Look at what happens to Pakistan, for instance. and came from the same culture zone. But the moment the Sanatan tradition vanished from that country, suddenly minorities are endangered there. Democracy, we all know what happened just a fortnight back or maybe a month back. Same is the case in Bangladesh. In fact, I was reading one of the book, of my friend Deep Haldar's book, and he quoted one of this Dhaka University professors saying that Hindus in Bangladesh have just 3 decades. That's it. So that's the state of affairs. And the only thing differentiating between India and these two land masses, which are part of India, was that these two places doesn't have the Hindu population. I generally don't use the Hindus because we never called ourselves Hindu. Sanatan tradition. So Sanatan tradition is not there, and look what happened. The idea of India had always been very apologetic about that. That's why I use the term Bharat also. So it should be the moment you use the idea of Bharat, we are instantly connected with our civilizational core, and that's what is identity war we are also fighting, and I think we need to win that war.
Right, right. And the other point also, Utpal, that you made was, and this is interesting because it's not about necessarily ideology, but you point out to the fact that Modi is actually the first prime minister who's not from the Latvian sort of ecosystem. Neither was he in Delhi as an MP or working the scene.
Nor was Deva Gowda.
And
Nor was Deva.
No, I'll refer from that. There are others also, like even Vajpayee was not a Luthians, but the difference between Modi and others was that others chose to look up at Luthians Delhi for legitimacy. They wanted to be insider, as Manmohan Singh's book very pompously called itself, the insider. Narendra Modi was different in that way. He never sought the legitimacy. In fact, he took pride in being out of that, that so-called gang. So that was the difference. That was the difference between Modi and the previous prime minister, including Deve Gowda, Vajpayee ji, or Manmohan Singh ji.
And the other thing that you comment on, and we comment on it a lot, and I'd welcome the others also to join in with Utpal's new book. This is what we're going to do every Sunday, have a special guest in for 10 minutes. But very quickly, Utpal is also the history writing project. How much do you think, what role has that played in really our journey being kind of faltering when it comes to understanding ourselves and our own history?
Oh, I think on that front, I must say that not much had been done by this government in the last 10 years. It has largely worked on the physical aspect of removing the coloniality. Mental aspect is still left. In fact, I remember meeting one of the education ministers, Babu. I think around the time when I launched the book in January, and he thought that I'm a general journalist who is who loves to be secular, quote unquote. So he was very patronizing. He told me, no, we have not changed in anything in this textbook in last 10 years. And I looked back and said, precisely, you have not changed anything. We are still reading the history book from the invader's point of view, the history which is Delhi-centric, the history which does not connect with the Bharat per se. And that problem is still there. I mean, we have not done it. NCERT book still talks about Aryan invasion, migration theory, which is a bunkum. I mean, there cannot be bigger lie than that. And look at this harm. Today also, this DMK, the son of DMK chief minister, is pompously said that we have to remove Sanatan Dharma as if it's some dengue. And it is precisely based on that, Aryan and so-called Aryan Dravidian imaginary divide, which was created by this theory. We have not touched upon that. Despite so much happening, I mean, you go through the Saraswati civilization, the discovery, and when it dried up, there are enough evidences. But we are going slow on that. Still, we don't talk much about Cholas, which is one of the most grandest empires in the world, if not India. We hardly know about them. We hardly talk about Ahoms. They were the one who defeated Aurangzeb at the height of the prime. And we don't know about them. And they were there for 500 years. Assam did not become Muslim. Yes, of course, it happened after independence. We allowed Bangladeshis to invade that territory. But before independence, it didn't become Muslim precisely because Ahoms were there and they guarded that part of the territory. We don't talk about them. We hardly talk about Vijayanagar Empire. And our history still is like, as if, governed by, Delhi Sultanates and Mughals. And most of this, like, I remember one of my person who I look forward to, Sandeep Balakrishnan. His book says that, that in 80 years Delhi Sultanate saw almost like eight sultans changing guards. And what used to happen with each sultan, the new one, the moment new one will come, they will again have to fight again to regain all the territory owned by the previous sultan. So that was the state of, fight they used to witness. But when we read history, we used to believe that Qutbuddin Aibak, the king of Hindustan, Iltutmish king of Hindustan, and that's all. But nothing has been done on that front. I'm sure, I think next 10 years will be all about that. And it's easy to remove the physical coloniality, difficult to remove the mental one. But I think we are going towards that path. I'm very optimistic about that.
And on that optimistic note, I want to thank you, Utpal, for joining us on your book. Those of you who want to read it, you're going to relish this book because, like I said, it's very well researched, very well articulated, argued without being disrespectful to any side. I think that was what was great, was that it wasn't dismissive of anything while being critical of our journey so far and journey coming up. So thank you so much, Utpal, for joining us. And I'm not going to hold you to the Sunday. If you want, you can leave.
When you do a book, you do it properly. See, what is unique about this book is you have interesting stuff in there which is contextualized. We tend to pick and find things just right now in staccato. This book contextualizes it. That is the main thing you have to say, Advaita. You should do that.
But she hasn't read the book. She hasn't read the book.
Okay, bye everybody. Utpal, thanks so much. I'm not going to subject you to this.
When I had to write this,
And where's our eating? Why do you not eat before or after the show? It's quite rude.
I just come back from work, Suhel.
We don't care. So we don't care. That doesn't mean you don't eat. Next, you want to sleep on the show.
Yes.
Because you're tired. You want to snore on the show. I mean, what nonsense.
Highly disrespectful.
Yeah, Advaita, start the program now.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Raizada, so
All the best, Utpal. All the
thanks,
best.
Utpal. So lovely to have you on the show, Doctor. Today we're going to be starting off our discussion, of course, with the Indi rally. And one of the significant features of the Indi rally was Sunita Kejriwal taking the stage, sitting next to Sonia Gandhi, which I'm sure is a very prime placement on the dais. And how are you responding to this? Suddenly a lot of people who are not charitable to AAP are saying this is, what happened with Lalu and his wife. And it's a similar situation, Rabri Devi 2.0. How are you reading this? And because you've been associated with AAP from the very beginning and have seen it very closely.
Thanks, Advaita, for having me on this program. First of all, I greatly appreciate this and the discussion with Utpal Kumar. I've read his articles, so that has always been very interesting. Way of perspective, knowing what he writes. Coming to this, I just tweeted a few minutes back, looking at the picture of Sonia Gandhi and Sunita Kejriwal sharing the DS. I tweeted, "This is why Anna Andolan was started." And those who all supported Anna Andolan and Aam Aadmi Party, we all must cry in shame. And this is Rabri 2.0. I want to bring to your attention a conversation which Sunita Kejriwal had with me in 2017. At that point, me and some of our volunteers, steadfast volunteers of Anna Andolan and Aam Aadmi Party, we were running a campaign called Chanda Bandh Satyagraha. Chanda Bandh Satyagraha, no list, no donation campaign. So our headline, and we were not mincing the words. We were very upfront in saying that, okay, since you have hidden the donation list, so until you show it, we will call you Chanda Chor, because this is what it is. If you're not, if you're running away from the principle of transparency, financial transparency, then we will call you Chor. Chor is, and you have since hidden the Chanda, you're Chanda Chor. So Sunita Kejriwal while reading a like headlines in Punjab Kesari, in which Chanda Chor word was used, she sends me a message on Twitter saying that why you are doing this is not required, this and that. So I replied that okay, Sunita, if you make the list live, like if you restore the donors list, I will take my flight back to Chicago and go away from here. And then she started, blaming this on central agencies, tax department, and all that. And I wrote that okay, with financial principles, we can't compromise on that. And that was the end of conversation. And probably she blocked me after that. So what I'm trying to say is that this party, Aam Aadmi Party, came with these three principles. One is financial transparency. Second is that we will have internal vigilance on ourselves, thereby appointing an internal Lokpal. And third is that we will end high command culture. That was the Abbott principle. And we used to give examples of Sonia Gandhi, this and that, that everyone is suffering from a dynastic politics, Parivarwad, this and that, and we will end all this. And as soon as we came into power, and then there was another principle I want to bring to your attention, that no one individual can hold more than 2 terms in succession. And Arvind Kejriwal is today holding the convenership. He is the party chief for the 3rd time. And of course, he continues to be the CM also. So this has become one-man party. And on top of that, today is probably the lowest level they could have stood. They could have stood. And I'm also I'm appealing to all Oppians that at this point, even if you don't want to rebel, then probably your soul is dead. Yes, please.
Suhel, go ahead. Go ahead. No, Suhel, go ahead. You had a point to make. Go on.
I think
Go on, Suhel.
3 or 4 things. I don't want to comment on the book because I haven't read it, but I'm sure it's interesting. If a scriptwriter of your eminence endorses the book, it must be good. So we'll let that pass. And my other piece of advice would be, when you get copies of books, they are primarily meant for the Sunday club. They're not sending it to you because you're a Nobel laureate. Why don't you buy some copies and send them to all of us so that we are well prepared before the show? It costs nothing considering how much you're making. There are many subscribers. So now let's get to the serious point. I think what Munish has said is very what Munish has said is critical. The Aam Aadmi Party is nothing but a bunch of deceitful thugs. That's who they are. Everyone who thought Arvind Kejriwal and Anna Hazare were the epitome of decency, dignity, and devotion are all wrong. They were both hoodlums, publicity seekers, and all they wanted was attention. Kejriwal was different because he wanted attention, driven by avarice, fueled by power. That's his construct. So please don't imagine कि ये आम आदमी है, ये खास आदमी है, ये साले pretend कर रहे हैं कि भाई हम आम आदमी हैं. But there is nothing आम about them, not even a putrid mango. So that's number 1. Number 2, how shameful is it for people, young people, who were believers in the idea of an India against corruption, who were believers in the fact that here's a man who coughs his way to power and can actually assume power because of his dignity and because of him being dignified, are today seeing the absolute emasculation of the idea of the Aam Aadmi ruling the roost. What is Aam Aadmi about then? Nothing. Everything that Kejriwal had promised, he has reneged on. From vehicles with red lights on top of them, with security, living in mansions, using private planes, treating Bhagwat Singh Maan as a travel concierge. I mean, they have violated every norm. What is upsetting is that the BJP has played into their hands. Why do you wait for 9 summons to arrest the man? He should have been arrested after the first summon or the second summon. You are making a person who has no business to be a victim in the first place. Number 2, you are denying the people of Delhi the right to be governed by sanity and governed with honesty. fine, the constitution does not have a proviso which says that a person from jail cannot run the state. Is that the example you want to set? Is this the definition of democracy? Did we elect an under trial? Did we elect someone who would go to prison and not be accountable? Who, cocks a snook at the authority, say, Jo karna hai, kar lo, kul kafi. So that's number 2. Number 3, and this is an important point. This is not an alliance of ideology. This is an alliance to boot the BJP. These people are not here to win a war. They are here to defeat an enemy. When your only purpose is to defeat an enemy, you will make silly mistakes. You will lose small battles. What is also very important is none of these people have any ideological commonality. They are not here to fight on ideology. Sonia Gandhi's people have abused Kejriwal in November 2022. So as recently as November 2022, he was persona non grata. Kejriwal has abused every opposition leader. He has abused Sonia Gandhi. Do you think these people actually trust each other? No. This is दिखावा. This is a bahana to tell people कि हम एक साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. ये एकदम कमीनापन है, दोगलापन है, और सबसे ज्यादा ये it's trying to my mind, it's trying to sully the waters of dignity and decency. And that, to my mind, needs to be stopped. But will it be stopped? No. The media has been bought by advertising. Advertising with whose money? Yours and mine. We are taxpayers. So that is the issue that we need to address. This is not a holy alliance. It's an unholy alliance. It's not even an alliance. It's a nexus. It is a collection of thugs who are out to rule the roost, hoping that they will defeat the BJP, not knowing that the BJP is a master in this game. The only mistake the BJP has made is it has allowed this wound to fester and fester for too long. This should have been nipped in the bud. You are unnecessarily making a victim of a man who has no business being victim. He's the perpetrator and not the victim.
Okay, so before Advaita comes back, just 2-3 points I want to make. And one, of course, is I still remember the last time Sonia Gandhi was seen and where she was standing behind Mahua Moitro in Parliament when Mahua was actually expelled from Lok Sabha. It didn't go down very well with the party because just after that, the TMC, the kind of words Mamata Banerjee used for the Congress party, and I don't know if Tehseen is going to join us, but he very correctly tweeted that the biggest mistake which the Congress made was to make Sonia Gandhi stand behind Mahua Moitro. You brought the level up so high and it became hugely embarrassing when Mamata Banerjee started abusing the Congress and broke the ties. That's one. Second, today is Sheila Dikshit's birth anniversary and many Congress leaders turned up, but many, of course, like Ajay Makan, Abhishek Datta, who is a councillor, Devendra Yadav, none of them turned up. The reason is because they've never been comfortable with the AAP Congress alliance. What they find pathetic is that the same person who has been abusing Sheila Dikshit, saying that isko jail jana hai, on her, first of all, a date which has been chosen is so wrong. It's on the birth anniversary of, of Sheila Dikshit. Then you have it in Ramlila Maidan. And again, the same mistake. Sonia Gandhi behind Mahua Moitro, Sonia Gandhi along Sunita Kejriwal. There's a sense in the Congress this is going to come back to bite them. Because what happened in Bengal could happen over here in Delhi, and it's definitely happening in Punjab also. I mean, Ranveer Bittu, before he quit, he made the point. Ki look at what Arvind Kejriwal has been doing, and hum log jaake uske saath alliance karte hain. And then there are some like Sandeep Dixit who turned up at the rally today, but he may get a ticket. And these people are worried that if we don't go there, AAP workers will not work for us. I think on the ground, the AAP cadre and the Congress cadre may not work together because the differences and the bitterness is so sharp that the friendship you're seeing at the top will not percolate down to the ground. I saw that happening in UP, that UP ke ladke. It just didn't work on the ground. And that's the same thing which is likely to happen in Delhi. So they will get 0 seats, most likely. AAP and Congress will fall out. Each will blame the other. Things will get out of control for Arvind Kejriwal. And then you have a Sonia Gandhi and a Priyanka Gandhi, the entire Gandhi family standing next to Kejriwal and sharing stage. And lastly, yesterday Jairam Ramesh was forced to make a statement that this rally is not about one person. The rally is about a larger issue of death of democracy. And why did he say that? He said that because many in the Congress party said we are not liking the idea of having a rally which peg is only Kejriwal's arrest. And by the way, before I
I
go,
want to
Suhel,
ask you
you
a
were
question,
excellent.
Pallavi.
I
Pallavi,
ask-
I want to ask you a
Suhel, you were
question.
absolutely
And
excellent.
I want to ask Pallavi a question. It was a superb
Suhel, you were very
analysis.
good, yeah.
No, it was a superb analysis. Just tell all of us, and this is a serious question. Net, I want your views and keep it pithy and brief. Number one, who is going to win? Will this alliance last even till the elections? Number two, will they have a leader emergent from this alliance? Number three, what is going to happen to Aam Aadmi Party oblique Kejriwal? Some people are saying that Raghav Chadha has sent out feelers to the BJP. I want your views on these three and make it
So
pithy.
three-
Yeah? We don't want
Okay.
essays from you.
Okay, three things very quickly. Will the alliance last? I suspect till the Lok Sabha election. The Congress is compelled to go to Arvind Kejriwal's house dead in the night he was being arrested, because they think that this is what we need to do so that a cadre work together. Cadre is not going to work together. So I think 0 seats milenge. I think all the 7 seats are likely to go to the BJP. I may be wrong. That's why I'm saying likely. So that's one. Come Lok Sabha elections, each will start blaming the other. AAP will blame Congress will blame AAP, and someone down the line is going to blame Rahul Gandhi. That's one. Second, what is the second question? Any leadership will emerge? No, I don't think any leader is going to emerge. No leader is going to emerge about this India front, because much as people may hate that BJP ad, but the fact is that very much depicts the truth. They're just fighting with each other, and they all want to be a leader. And third, I think eventually the LG will step in. You can, constitutionally speaking, that's what LG's office told me, you can run the government from behind bars, but how fair is that to the people? Because now the question mark is rising that was there a letter written? ED says he never had any, he was not privy to any paper, he did not have any access to any pen, so how could he have given a written note?
Was Atishi today with Sunita Kejriwal?
They will not get along. They don't get along.
Was she on stage? Was she on stage with Sunita Kejriwal?
I think she
Yeah.
was.
She was sitting
No,
behind,
she was not.
Yeah, she was
sitting
she
behind
was
her.
behind Sonia. She was sitting behind Sonia.
So much for someone having gone and covered it, doesn't even know who was sitting on stage. I mean, ये तो हाल है हमारे देश का.
और खाते बात कर रही है. And
Wow.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Actually, Doctor,
what was the crowd like?
Yeah.
What was the crowd like?
No, Dr. Raizada will also know what the dynamics are.
Somebody's asking a
Yes.
question.
Relax.
Was
Relax.
there-
What's wrong with both of you? I'll kick you both out of the studio.
What was the crowd like?
She's very sweet, Advaita.
Was it more people than expected? कितने आए लोग?
No. You also have to understand they were all managed crowd also, large extent, because see, all the political parties were getting their supporters. So इतना तो उन्होंने crowd pull कर दिया. Ramlila Maidan is huge, so it can never be filled up. But crowd तो ठीक ठाक था. It was kind of okay. I will not call all of them an organic crowd.
How many people? How many people?
मेरे हिसाब से I can't say correctly, but 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 तो थे. But उसमें
1,000
media भी था.
Advaita Kala goes to Uttarakhand. There are 1,000 people to greet her.
And also,
That is
something
true.
which many people are not
with
noticing.
2,200 people are watching us live, yeah. It can't be
Yeah.
2,000
Many-
people at Ramlila.
And you know something?
I heard
many
about
people are not
30,000.
noticing. No यार, कुछ नहीं यार. मैंने मुश्किल से 2-3 हजार लोग देखे. I'll tell you one thing. What I'm saying is, one thing you notice for Aam Aadmi Party, for a party which has begun from the ranks and from the people, you notice that when Kejriwal was arrested, वो ground में movement organic नहीं हुआ.
Yes.
वो ममता बनर्जी के लिए हुआ था, when like all that drama which was going through, इसके लिए नहीं हुआ. That is a worrying sign, which is why Arvind Kejriwal is doing what he's doing, getting his wife to go there, playing that card and not taking a decision. It's not that he wants to rule from jail. He knows the day he resigns, party will collapse. There's going to be a break, and there's going to be massive infighting. That's one big problem. Raghav Chadha ke baare mein, it's strange. I mean, he's there. Pariniti Chopra is here. Priyanka Chopra is here, and Raghav Chadha is not tweeting much. 1-2 tweets kiya. He's not making any video statement, but he's being seen with Khalistani supporters, so on and so forth.
But Advaita, you know Pariniti and Raghav Chadha from your Bollywood days, don't you?
I know
Advaita?
Priyanka. I worked in a movie with Priyanka. But
Which one?
moving on.
Which one?
Anjana.
Wasn't a hit.
Nice.
Priyanka.
Nice movie.
So
I
I
like
want
the
to
plot.
ask, actually, Thanks, Pallavi. I want to ask Dr. Raizada something, and Abhijit also. Uh, you understand the dynamics within the Aam Aadmi Party. How do you think they're reacting to this, Sunita Kejriwal's rise in the party and becoming like the spokesperson of Kejriwal and Aap in this time?
There are a couple of things which we must remember. First of all, within the party, they have never taken care and taken time to groom a leadership. Arvind Kejriwal inherently is a very insecure person. If you look at the mandate which we got with 67 seats in 2015, he never appointed any educated minister, be it Saurabh Bhardwaj, Somnath Bharti, Atishi. He had full mandate of 67 out of 70 seats. And then, of course, at some point, Kailash Gehlot pitches in, it jumps in, but he is a very rich guy. He like the reason behind his elevation was that he is a rich guy. In second term also, when we got 67, I was not a part of that Aam Aadmi Party at that point. When they got 62 seats, even that time, Arvind Kejriwal, majority of his time goes in calculating whom to keep aside. So there's a vacuum. Saurabh Bhardwaj, Atishi, they came in the last few months when nothing much was left. So there's no leadership as such. Second is that what makes me much more pissed off is the way they are conducting themselves even at this point. Like the way Sunita has been thrust upon the party, no one is speaking out. But my understanding and my assessment, seeing them in last many years, is that there's no leadership, there's nothing, there's no future. The way the decline has started now, the way the trajectory has gone out of the shape, it is quite possible if he remains in the jail, and which he must, because there is strong evidence, and this is ED case, ministers like Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia, and Sanjay Singh, they have not been able to come out. And K. Kavita, she comes from the South lobby. In this case, she also was declined bail by as high court as Supreme Court about 10 days back.
Boss, 1 minute, 1 minute. I want to ask Monish and Abhijit, this serious again. Can you break down for the viewers? Some viewers are very bright. Can you break down for the viewers, and certainly for me, what exactly is this Delhi liquor issue? Because so much is being said, no one, just break it down for us.
Just in 1 minute, the whole thing is that Manish Sisodia comes out with a liquor policy. Of course, it was by Delhi government that showcases that convinces everyone that they are redefining the revenue model in a way that more revenue will come to the government, to the treasury. But that is not the case. The benefit, the more profit will go to the distributor, the wholesalers. So they convince him that if you tweak the policy in a way that the margins will improve for them. So he does that, and South lobby is jumps into the action. They promise 600 crore rupees to them. In advance, they pay them 100k, crore, 100 crore, which is already sent to the states where the elections are going to be. And then, when the chief secretary, this is important, the chief secretary, when the file comes to him, he smells something fishy there. So he brings it to the attention of the LG, and then based upon the recommendation of the chief secretary, the LG orders a CBI inquiry into this. And then in a huff, the government, when the things were going out of control, then they roll it back, and by that time, the criminality in this had come to the fore. So this is in a nutshell.
So let me go sequentially here. What happened was, before anybody could get a liquor license in Delhi, about say 60-70% of the shops were government owned, 30-40% were your mom and pop stores. जहाँ कोई भी बेच सकता था. And needless to say, the mom and pop stores were of a higher standard than the government stores, as is always the case. What this new liquor policy, and you could basically get a license annually. You had to pay to run a liquor shop. You had to pay something like 8 to 10 lakhs to get it, which was very easily recoupable. Anybody can afford 8 to 10 lakhs, so mom and pops can run it. What this new liquor policy did was it made a wholesaler license for something like 6-7 crores per year and a retail license for 11-12 crores every year. So in one fell swoop, it wiped out every single small businessman who was running this thing. And what happens on top of that is that the big companies, all of which went to the south, they see the south group was dealing with the retailer. The retailer is where the actual money is to be made, right? So what was happening with the retailer is there's several scams within the scam. Where the retailer was making money, this south group came in, and then what happened was this government, which had said we are getting this profit because instead of 8 lakhs, we're now charging 11 crores or whatever, uh, said during COVID, you don't have to pay us because you've not done well this year, so we are excusing you. So they didn't even get the revenue that they were meant to get in the first place. The second was the allocation. They divided up. See, in a market, you can't create artificial scarcity, means you will run a black market and there's illegality. So anybody could pay 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs or whatever and get the thing. Here they decided that each zone, each ward will only have a certain number of stores. And who the stores would get allocated to, first of all, you've kicked out all the competition. And then who the stores would get allocated to is again based on who you're close to in government. So it was a calculated attempt at wiping out one section of the market, giving a near monopoly or say oligopoly to another section of suppliers, and reducing the financial burden on them after that. And see, the reduction of the financial burden wasn't a reduction. They said the money has to be deposited not to the government, but to party funds. We will discount, you say 10, 12, 15%, and that money has to be given to the party so that we can fight the Punjab elections. Yes. So two separate criminalities here. The third criminality is the credit notes that were given. What they would say is they'd go to the wholesaler and say to the supplier, not the wholesaler, and say, this guy is doing very well. So, in advance, you give us so many 1,000 crates of, say, Chianti or whatever, and performance bonuses and incentive, when in fact there was no sale being shown. So there was an internal scam happening there as well, which kind of doesn't involve the government. But what happened is, it was the excise policy negation that became a problem. Excise policy mane kya? Pehle, on every bottle sold, the government used to make some 200-300 rupees, and the store would make about, say, $100. Now what happened was the retailer was making 300 rupees, the government was making 3 rupees. Now, even this is justifiable because you can say, well, the government is before was getting 8 lakhs per store, but we are only getting, but now we're getting 11 crores per store. So let him make what profit he wants, which is perfectly reasonable. Except you were not getting those 11 crores. You promised something, you didn't do it. And when they reversed the policy because they realized they were going to get caught, that is when some of these retailers and wholesalers turned whistleblower and went and complained to the governor saying ki ye scam chala tha, number one. Number two, what has now happened is what has triggered the arrest of Kejriwal. You see, 2 people who had been arrested in this were closely involved in this, where Vijay Nair of Only Much Louder, which runs all these Sasta comedians and YouTube type chichoras, but also some good people.
Someone could call us also YouTube type chichoras, by the way.
1 minute, let him finish. Why are you interrupting?
Come on. Suhel,
no, because you are so condescending.
1 minute. He's making a very good point.
See, you are a tapoli, Advaita, so don't compare us with you. We are elite. You are tapoli. So what happens here is that Vijay Nair used to run all these Sasta Chapris on YouTube. And the other person was Manish Sisodia, who ran policy. But there was a government bungalow which was allocated to Kailash Gehlot, which Kailash Gehlot said, see, I'm going to stay with my family. So even though on paper it was allocated to Kailash Gehlot, it was Vijay Nair who was coming and staying out there. Yes. And mind you, media advisor to AAP, he was not media advisor generally. So he had no business staying out there. And it was way over and above his allocation to be staying out there. Next, what happened was, when these 2 were under arrest, it was a competition between them to not talk. Your soldiers brave it out, don't talk, don't break the meta code and things like that. Till May of last year, Vijay Nair wasn't talking. Vijay Nair, in fact, filed an extremely defiant appeal in the Supreme Court to get bail with his lawyer, Rebecca John. But within about 3-4 months after that, by September 2023, he had turned approver. The moment he turned approver, this fellow's goose was cooked, Kejriwal's goose. Because Vijay Nair is the one who set up this whole thing. So he has started giving out all the names, all the details. Now, see, accusation, on the basis of accusation, you can't arrest. But what they've done is they've matched all the phone records, proximity records, they've interviewed all the service staff and things and figured they've verified a lot of what Vijay Nair has been saying. So within 1 month of Vijay Nair turning approval, the first summons went out to Kejriwal. Thereafter, 9 summons given. Why was he arrested? They would have allowed the summons to keep going on. They arrested him on the 9th summons because he himself pretty much had him arrested. He approached the court to seek protection, and that protection was denied. So now when the court says, please go ahead and arrest him, you will go ahead and arrest him.
Exactly.
But let me tell you one thing, Advaita, with your permission, and taking off from what he said. The narrative that the BJP slightly faltered on, which I don't know if they will correct or not, or whatever. The judiciary has always been pretty vigilant and, to my mind, pretty neutral, at least at the higher echelons. If you look at the last 10 months, the judiciary has actually vetoed a lot of the government's ideas, proposals, plaints, whatever. In this, can you imagine how the narrative was spun? It was almost as if it is BJP's vendetta, and what was totally ignored was that there was judicial oversight. People were actually, the justice system had intervened and said that, look, this kind of nonsense has to stop. But he made it out to be a BJP versus Aam Aadmi Party issue, rather than make it an issue of legally improper, and therefore he was hauled up and put behind bars. That narrative has also not been very clear and clearly constructed. I want Munish to come in on this.
Suhel, I think the BJP, you're right, absolutely right. BJP could not really put him in the spot. BJP, particularly when it comes to Delhi BJP also does not have strong leadership, unfortunately, and they missed the point. I mean, as the case has been just so brilliantly explained, there was so much against him, even on a legal basis, and they let him thrive on this missed opportunity. He kept building up a narrative, and then played to the gallery. Even in this, the last time he appeared in the court, he was just playing to the gallery. He spoke for 7 minutes and speaking political language there. So yes, you're absolutely right. And also, there are so many other opportunities where Delhi BJP would have handled this guy much more effectively. But they never really opposed him. They never took him to the battleground on the ground.
What do you see, Munish, since you know these rogues, I mean, not rogues, people very well. What do you see Kejriwal's future as?
If he does not get bail in near future, his career is gone. The moral project of Aam Aadmi Party is already dead, and the way he is thrusting upon his wife on the people, on the party cadre as well as on the people are not going to accept it. In my opinion, if it comes out, like God forbid, if there's some legal angle where he manages to come out on the bail, that won't be good for rest every one of us, but it will be good for him. But if he continues to be in the jail, which he should be, that is the rightful place for him, because as we see, the liquor scam is there's evidence, there's enough corruption in this. So if
Kejriwal stays in jail, his career is over. Are you therefore saying, and 2 questions. Number 1, is Aam Aadmi Party over in Delhi? And what happens to Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab? Do they en masse shift to the BJP? What happens?
Aam Aadmi Party Punjab has nothing to do with Aam Aadmi Party Delhi. They have nothing. There's no commonality between them. It just there was a massive surge for them from Aam Aadmi Party. They were treating him like Messiah, thinking that he will bring some change. They were fed up with the incumbent governments, and that is how the change happened. It was not due to the miracle of Arvind Kejriwal per se. And I've spent so much time in Punjab also doing Chandaband Satyagraha, and also in last elections I held a couple of press conferences there. So the moral project is done. Even if Arvind Kejriwal comes out on a long term, as you know, like Assam Gun Parishad, some parties come with a mandate with massive support, but they fizzle out because there's nothing in them. Aam Aadmi Party is the perfect example of that, and no one else is to blame them. No one else except themselves is to blame for this.
Can I
And
add
Raghav
something?
Chadha, what is the
Add
story there? Is he trying to stay away from India, given what's happening here, or is he somebody who will come back and face the circumstances?
Raghav Chadha is not a people's leader. He is just a creation of the media and certain traits, and thus he was a blue-eyed guy for Arvind Kejriwal. I know him since beginning, and Raghav Chadha is staying out when his leader is in jail, is in trouble. He is staying away from this, and in this program, it has already been, I think,
He's
indicated
a
that
मतलबी guy यार. वो अपना देखेगा भाई. Everything he has done. They are very similar.
He's a typical Punjabi Bagh Rohini type thing, you know. So with all the baggage that carries. But let me just break it up, because
How arrogant
Dr.
you
Raisa
sound.
brought out something very important. You see, the Delhi AAP was created as a mass movement against corruption. The Punjab AAP was very similar to what happened to the Democrat Party after desegregation and Lyndon Johnson. You know, when Lyndon Johnson did desegregation, people don't realize this. The Democrats were the party of segregation, and the Republicans were anti-segregation. And when Lyndon Johnson, who was a Democrat, brought in desegregation, the entire racist bunch actually moved to the Republican Party to oppose the Democrats. You see a lot of that happening out here. You know, the Congress technically would have won the last election had it not been for that duffer Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi should have let Captain Amar Singh win that election, but he wanted to take away control from Captain and give it to his own, what is that cricketer, joker, mentally unbalanced fellow?
Navjot Singh Sidhu.
That guy. So he wanted to give
Navjot
it
Singh
to
Sidhu.
yeah. So he wanted to give it to that schizo. So because he
Channi ko diya na.
yeah, so he gave it to that schizo. Rahul Gandhi defeated the Congress. Now here what happens is you see a significant movement of the Jat power bank moving its vote. They account for 20%, but they control the votes out there. This is the only state where, being 20%, everyone, the BJP is Jat, the Akalis are Jat, the Congress is Jat, the AAP is Jat. Okay, it is a complete Jat-Sikh control of things. And they shifted it off to Aam Aadmi Party. The second thing that happened out there was it was remote control government. They chose the worst guy to control. Now, he's a chief minister, so we have to be respectful, but I think you've all seen the videos of him in, let's say, not complete control of his faculties. So they wanted a controllable puppet, but the happiest with Kejriwal going to jail is Bhagwant Mann. You know why? Because both the puppeteer, which is Kejriwal, and the string, which was Raghav. Raghav was sent there as the viceroy to control everything. And
Yes.
why was Raghav sent there? This goes back to what Dr. Raizada said. This man is an extremely insecure fellow. He has not only not created a second rung of leadership, he encourages fighting between the second rung. Anybody who tries to match him in popularity gets screwed over. Be it now, you may not like Yogendra Yadav, Prashant Bhushan, I think they're very unscrupulous people, but he had them kicked out. He's been encouraging this fight between Saurav Bhardwaj and Atishi Marlena. There is another little cold war going on between Raghav and everybody else because Raghav does not work on the ground. Okay, there is constant infighting happening throughout that thing, which will not, and which is done deliberately, because Kejriwal wants to be the one who's able to manage all of this, be indispensable, so he can never be removed. The problem then is when you are removed, the party breaks. And you see this even to the extent, this is an extraordinarily unscrupulous man. See, how do you take a fellow who says, मैं अपने बच्चे की कसम खाता हूं, मैं कभी election नहीं लड़ूंगा, कभी पद accept नहीं करूंगा, who then goes on to fight 2 elections and become chief minister. He has sworn on his children's lives several times over. How do you take him seriously, boss? That is what this guy is doing. So you look at Sunita Kejriwal. Does this look like a confident career woman from the IRS? She is literally scared of everything. She is unsure of herself. She's been terrorized and tyrannized her entire life.
Yes.
She has wasted her entire life in service to a deranged, tyrannical megalomaniac.
Okay, now's the time for my series of disclaimers. He is AIM is not a marriage counselor or a marriage analyzer. Number
I'm a
two,
very
neither
good
does he
marriage
have
counselor.
neither
I'm-
does he have a psychotherapy degree to
I am a
diagnose people with
certified
various mental
non-conventional marriage
conditions.
counselor.
Okay, third
So,
point.
so for example, when Advaita Kala, wants to
Neither is he one to define what is classy and what is not, as much as he would like to
I'm
think.
extremely
Number
classy.
four, all of AIM's
Suhel, am I
comments are
classy
his
or am I not?
his
Suhel, am I
alone.
classy or am I not?
Panel does not bear
Am I
any
classy or am I not?
responsibility for what
Suhel,
he says.
batao.
What is your issue, Advaita? He's making
Yes.
a point. It's the freedom of speech. What is your
Yes,
issue?
yes,
What is your
yes,
issue?
uncle. Pallavi, coming back to
Suhel,
you.
you're
Okay.
good, on that show, and I really liked you and I praised you also, but you're not even saying thank you. You're
I
having
said
cold
thank you.
coffee.
What
It's
I
okay.
said thank
If
you.
I have
You
melon
want me
in
to
my
erect your bloody
bottle,
statue and worship you every morning while you eat papaya. Chod. Chalo,
it's
shuru
not
karo.
papaya, it's melon.
I like
And second,
I like the tone
you
and
can
tenor of
drink
this
cold.
program.
No, you
Yeah.
you drink cold coffee. It's okay. I have melon. This is so.
I'm drinking cold coffee for medicinal purposes.
Yes.
I'm also
Because I've
having
given
melon
up
for
alcohol
medicinal
8 months ago.
purposes.
This is the time I would normally have a drink. So you
This
should
is
be more
selective.
empathetic.
I'm having melon because my
I'm
doctor
having
told me
cold
to have
coffee to
melon.
keep myself awake in order to listen to you.
What doctor tells you
right.
to have melon? Batao. Batao, ye kaun sa doctor hai? Batao. I want to check who this doctor is.
The
Batao.
It's
same
not
one who
melon, it's
calls you
papaya.
scrumptious.
She
No,
said
it's
melon.
melon. Musk melon. एक
Musk
melon में
melon,
क्या
okay.
है?
Doctor ka naam batao.
Listen, we're losing
Doctor
viewers
ne-
because of your nonsense, all of you.
Okay.
Dr. Manish Raizada, you run a party called the Bharatiya Liberal Party. Do you need spokespersons like Suhel and AIM, as well as an insider journo who's playing neutral but is actually in your party, like Pallavi?
Oh God.
See?
Couple of
She's no
things.
one's friend. She's a backstabber.
But Dr. Munish, I
और
want to ask
सपोर्ट
you,
करो
do you
पल्लवी
think
उसको और सपोर्ट करो किसने रोका तुमको और सपोर्ट करो उसको पल्लवी
She will run you over, trust me.
Dr. Munish, I want to ask you a question. Do you think AAP is going to split in case Kejriwal resigns as CM?
In Delhi or Punjab?
Generally, AAP as a party. In Delhi particularly, yeah. But
It won't split. It will be crushed. It will be crushed. It won't split. No one. They don't have the guts to split this. They are just behaving in a very important manner. Well, some of the best MLAs, some of the best means the way I know them. They should have stood up by now, but they don't have that kind of spine.
But Dr. Raizada, I want to ask you, how will they manage the conflict? Because none of these residual leaders get along with each other. So how are they going to manage the conflict without splitting? I mean, kuch to hoega na?
Even if Sunita is thrust upon as the CM, which looks likely, they will just continue to be like the Darbari for her. Number one, they will all quote unquote unitedly support her so as to face the upcoming elections in Delhi. And another thing which potentially could happen is that the government after these Lok Sabha elections, if the current BJP government gets a massive mandate, which looks likely at this point, then Delhi state may be restored to the municipality level in terms of legislation. And that will be a big relief for so many of us. Even though we are preparing ourselves for 2025 assembly elections, but if this painful chapter ends, I think everyone will be relieved. And also Bhagwant Mann is also extremely relieved. He does not have to act like a puppeteer, as you said. He can shy on his own with relief. And also in Punjab, if they dismantle, they start disintegrating, which looks likely, then they will just they make their own way out of this.
Interesting days ahead. We were supposed to discuss the alliance, but we ended up discussing AAP the entire evening. So I think we need to come
It's
back for it.
it's an important member of the alliance.
Yes.
I mean, let's be logical.
Yes.
You don't have to find fault with everything we do.
Okay, okay. But we will discuss the alliance tomorrow because some of our viewers are asking, about the alliance. So
It's not that
that's
they have very much to do
I'm
either. They
answerable
will come
to
back
my-
tomorrow.
I mean,
It's not that they have
I'm
anything to
answerable
do.
to the viewers. You all are arrogant, but I'm answerable to the viewers because I'm
You're not
humble.
answerable to anyone.
So
You
I
need to be
think-
answerable to us. We come on your show for free.
We are the humblest of people. Suhel, I, and Dr. Raizada have been nothing but humble. You
We
are
have
the
been-
one.
Bloody, we have been tolerating musk melon to lemon to melon to all that nonsense.
Exactly. और कैसा शो है तुम्हारा जहां मेहमान आते हैं और उनको कुछ खाने के लिए नहीं दिया जाता?
Yes.
एक मेहमान मेलन खा रही है और पर बाकी को भूखा रखा जा रहा है. बेचारा
Suhel,
सुहेल
you're
had to
talking
ask
behind
his
my
own
back.
chef to go to a cold coffee.
Not at all. I'm saying it in front of you. And I can't help it. I don't know where your back is because you suddenly disappeared from the screen. Where are we going to find your back of whatever?
Yes.
My
Melon.
Anyway, Pallavi, any gupshup about the alliance meeting today? Anyone offended? Anyone felt they didn't get enough time?
She couldn't get the crowd right. But the audience is saying, the viewers are saying there were 25,000 people. She only saw 1,000. I wonder which Ramlila she went to. Did you go to the Sri Ram Center or the Ramlila grounds?
It was a big crowd, 30,000 I think.
But
She
It was
said,
a big, that's what I was saying.
Achha, I don't know. Achha, I was outside. But anyway, what I'm saying is that, Ajay, Makan and all of them didn't turn.
You're going to get trolled. You're going to get
I'm any
trolled.
case
big time.
trolled, yeah. Any case I'm trolled, so it's okay.
that means she's very
Now, what do you
popular.
say?
People love to hate her. I mean, people love her. They troll her because she's objective. No, that to be fair to Pallavi, she is unarguably neutral.
So I tell you what, the thing is that Ajay Makan did not turn up. 2-3 of the other people also did not turn up. They were very uncomfortable. I think you were away when I was talking about this, that how it is today Sheila Dikshit's birthday. And many in the Congress party feel that, in Delhi Congress, they feel that today was a bad day to have this rally because here it's all about Kejriwal. So you know what happened is that they put up a poster. They put up a poster only about Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party workers put up. Many on the Congress and other political parties objected to it, so that poster had to be removed. It was there in the grounds. So, which is why I think it's going to be a very uncomfortable kind of a. I mean, I wish Tehseen had joined us because Tehseen had made the same point, which I agree with, that Sonia Gandhi is standing there behind Mahua Moitro. And it's very interesting, by the way. Today was also the day when Mamata Banerjee began her campaign, and she began with Krishnanagar. And now the Prime Minister is going to be there in Cooch Behar on 4th. Mamata Banerjee is also going to be Cooch Behar. So Bengal is going to be the big story. So both of them are going to be there on the 4th.
But one thing that you all did not pick up on was the fact, and especially Abhijit, the fact that Mamata Banerjee has backed Mahua Moitra all the way.
But there is such a reason behind it. There's a reason behind it. No, the cadre cannot get this feeling that when we are in trouble, Didi throws us out. She's not doing it for Mahua. She's doing it for her cadre.
Plus, it's also a very highly one single community dominated constituency. If you dump Mahua there, you are sending a signal to that community that I don't give a rat's ass about you guys. And those are her mainstay. So it's a double whammy for her. And not everyone, Advaita, is like you. People love being loyal and being empathetic.
In fact, I think that she's really stood by her MP. That's what I'm saying. You guys are giving 100 reasons for it. I'm saying it pretty straightforward.
She didn't
You
stand
asked
by
and we replied.
She had to stand by Mahua. She had to stand by Mahua because you can't do it. You cannot dump her.
Anyway, fuck all this. Just tell me how many seats will
please watch your language, okay? Watch your language.
You people don't please swear. Pallavi, how many seats will BJP get in this Lok Sabha election? Today on March 31, what is your prediction? How many seats will BJP?
I can't say, but when I speak to some BJP leaders themselves, they don't think it's going to be 350 par, but they are saying that this is a part of the strategy. They have to keep on talking about 400 par because there's a tendency among many of the BJP workers to become very smug. कि हम तो जीत ही रहे हैं, and the PM wants them to go out and work, and therefore he's also talking about 350 par. and the BJP का कुछ leaders का own feedback is anything above 330, 330 to
Okay,
350.
Manish, how many do you think?
It depends, I mean, frankly speaking, they are loud clamors about this, claims and clamor. But let's see how the verdict goes out. People's mandate. Yeah, let's see.
I think there'll be between 15 seats of a 2/3 majority. 350 to 375 ish is what I'm giving them, because 400 par is an unrealistic target. Which
But 400 par is for NDA.
1 second, Pallavi. They've given it exactly like Pallavi said, to make the rank and file work. The problem with the rank and file is, if you say कि we are assured a victory, वो काम नहीं करेगा.
Yeah.
So they need a target first of all to. They'll be like, "Hey, I'll get demoted or kicked out of my post if I don't show up. So at least I have to put in face time, so that I don't get sacked later on when we don't reach that target." Number one. Number two, it is also a tool of psychological intimidation, because the opposition does not have the data collection abilities that a BJP will have right now. Today, this is in Nalin Mehta's book, when the BJP took power, the ratio of BJP to RSS was 1.5 is to 1.2 or something like that. Today, it is 40 is to 1. That is how much the BJP has grown. So it is a tool of psychological intimidation of your opponents, which might actually work very well.
Which may
Advaita, what do you think?
I will reserve comments on a seat prediction at this point of time. Let the campaign get underway, and then I shall revert with my prediction, since I'm the one on this panel who usually gets predictions right and have a reputation to protect, unlike all of you who always get predictions wrong. So I'm not going to predict at this point of time. But I want to thank Dr. Manish.
You also want to compliment you on your humility, which has been unwaveringly consistent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your humility is really inspiring. Thank you.
Okay, and I want to thank everybody. We've had 2,900 viewers today live right now. Do remember to like this, and also help us cross 3,000 live next time round. Maybe.
Just for my understanding, what is this? And this, what is this 2,500 live? How significant is that? Just tell me.
It's significant because you have 2,900 people joining you right now, watching live. And on YouTube, like, you see CM's lives, okay? They're like, one guy was telling me, who works for one of them, said that we get like 300 or 400 people live, max at a time.
CM means?
Chief Minister, like someone who was working for a chief minister, and we were chatting about the show.
Don't compare us to Sukh Singh or whatever his name is, or whatever. I mean,
I'm not even saying with chief minister. I'm just saying that was the conversation. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Do like, do share, do subscribe to the channel. It really helps us.
Thank you. You all have been really great, and we hope you get your family members also on it, because our live will increase, and hopefully one day we'll make some money and hopefully we'll get better Wi-Fi connection.
Please leave comments on how great Dr. Raizada, Suhel, and I am, and how awful Advaita Kala is. It helps the algorithm. Thank you.
No.
And Dr.
Okay, guys. 1 second. Guys, I have to go. Bye. I have to pay the AC guy.
Now she's going to eat pineapple after eating melon. Yeah.
Oh,
where are you going, Pallavi? Where are you going?
I have to pay the AC guy, guys. I have work to do. Okay, bye.
Dr. Raizada like literally ran away.
Yes, with us. I have to pay the AC guy. I have to go wash my socks. How are we concerned? This is a serious problem. There are 2,900 people live.
Yeah.
And this question is kept, our archive swap has been asking this repeatedly. So can one of you...
Balakot for 29. We're not predicting 29 right now. Elections are highly unpredictable. I think the third term is going to be entirely systemic reforms, regulatory reforms, business reforms. He wants to get cracking on industrialization. The third term is when the industrialization of Gujarat started, which is yielding results to this day for the BJP in Gujarat. So that is what he wants to do out here. You go look at Surat now. Surat is insane. You see that city growing year by year. Mark my words, in another 20-25 years, it will replace Mumbai and Ahmedabad combined as the business capital of India. Jaake dekho, mark my words. That is what he's going to do to India in the third term. That is my guess.
So Rahul Gandhi saying saying civil war will break out and constitution will change. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll discuss that tomorrow. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you again very soon on the Sunday Club. Great viewership. Yeah, we'll see you soon. So take care and bye for now. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
And leave comments on how great I and Suhel